So I I'm going to show you how to set up appointments to show properties. So I've got these properties I have to show tomorrow. It's pretty late at night, but that doesn't stop you from setting up the showings if they're through a showing service. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to HAR. I'm going to enter matrix. I'm going to do search. Then I'm going to do quick search. Sorry, I'm going to do classic. I'll tell you why. Because I'm going to enter the MLS numbers. So my client, they sent me the homes via text. So I'm going to click on the homes that they text me. And once it pulls up, I just showed you, I'm going to enter the MLS number. So sorry if you can see that. I'm not sure if you can. On the listing, you go down to where it says, I don't think you can see it on the screen, but it says MLS number. And so I'm going to enter that. See one more time if you can see that on my screen. Maybe not. Sorry, I don't think you can. But I scrolled down till I found the MLS number, and I'm going to enter it. 89805785. I'm going to separate them by a comma, but no space. Then I'm going to go to the next one they sent me. I usually bookmark on my iPhone the ones they send me, and I hit the heart button, and it lets me save it to a file. I create a new file on my iPhone, and I save it under the client's name. I create the file using the client's name. That way I can just go back and pull them up whenever I need to. It'll also tell me if it goes into pending if you bookmark it on your iPhone using the har.com app. Once you click on the listing they send you, it automatically opens up your HAR app. I'm going to scroll down to the next one where it says MLS number, and I got it. Nine, six, oh, come on. They sent me another one. Waiting for it to load. And I got it. 8, 7, 3, 9, 4. And I believe that was all they sent me. Oh, sorry. I scrolled down. They sent me one more. They sent it to me pretty late. So clients are going to do this. They're going to send you a few. You might go ahead and schedule them, and then they're going to send you a few more maybe later on, maybe even tomorrow morning. So we have to start. I'm meeting the client at 1 o'clock. And the first showing, we're gonna meet somewhere on a neutral location, and then we're gonna drive to the first showing. So I'm gonna start it at about 1:30. We're meeting at 1, but they might even send me some more in the morning. So just be prepared that the client comes first. Customer's always right. So you want to be sure that you just understand when you're scheduling out in your scheduler that you plan your time allowing for extra time for, well, in case you have to stop for gas, the client may need to stop for something. And the other reason is they might add to that list. So tomorrow morning, they might send me some more. I've even had it happen where we're in the car driving to the last one, and they're on their phones and they find a house they want to see. And I always try, I pull over and I always try to see if I can schedule it in. Of course, you may not always be able to do that. If you don't allow enough show time or advanced notice and it's occupied, it may not allow for that. But I always try because the customer wants to see it, the client wants to see it, then I want to try to fit it in. So just take that in mind when you're scheduling your day out. That we may start at 1, and it takes about, you can show about 2 houses an hour. So a house every 30 minutes. And we're looking at, I think, 4 here. Yes, 4, because I'm about to add 1 more in. Keep in mind that, so that's what, 2 hours? So I'm gonna block out about probably 3 hours of my time, including maybe even 3.5, including driving back to my home office. So just keep that in mind. They may add to it and try to accommodate if you can. But again, you can't always accommodate, because if the showing might require a 24-hour notice, or it might require a 2-hour notice, or even a 1-hour notice. And if you can't give that, then obviously you can't schedule it. And you won't know till you start scheduling it or try to schedule it. Another good idea would be to inform the client, okay, we can look at this one after this one. So that will buy you maybe 30 minutes. And then say, but there's an hour notice required. Are you okay with that? And then y'all may have to just stop at Starbucks and use that opportunity to get to know them a little bit better, what they're looking for a little bit better. And that way you can buy some time so you can show that last house. Or you just may have to meet them another day and show it to them. I always try and show it to them that day if they had the time, and if I have the time allowed for the time restriction. 73283474. Okay, so I'm going to click all the options here, all the pending options, in case they happen to have gone pending. I want to be sure they come up. So I knew that I had 4 on my list, and 4 came up. So I didn't typo any MLS numbers. Okay, so first I'm going to go through here and I want to look at the listings. I kind of want to just see what I'm looking at here. I see this one's in Katy, so that's good. I know Katy pretty well because I live in Katy, so I actually know where that subdivision's at. I'm trying to mentally map out where I'm going. Again, there's a way to physically do it, so I'm going to go over that. Seller took off. I always read the agent remarks. Seller took home the market while I was closing on a new home. He hasn't moved yet. Text agent for code can show starting Thursday at 9 a.m. 40-year roof replaced in 2016. So they're saying it's a 40-year rated shingle replaced in 2016. So that's good. Updates. I love to read the updates. Good. So can show starting 1/20. So that would be tomorrow. So good thing for me, they're wanting to see it tomorrow. It's nighttime now. And again, I'm just wrapping up my day, trying to get ready for tomorrow. But I can see that I can show it after 9 tomorrow. And that's good because I'm not showing it till the afternoon anyway. So, but I've got to text the agent for the code. So that means the agent wants you to text them on their cell phone your information. So I'm going to tell them Ryan Hygic with Texas United Realty. I'll also add my HAR ID, which is R Hygic. That way they can pull me up on HAR without having to search my name and all that stuff. And it gives them, it also lets them know you are a member of HAR and they can look you up. So again, your HAR ID is great to keep handy. If you can't remember it, make sure you write it down and keep it like on a sticky note on your computer. And I'll probably add my real estate license number to the text just so they can be crystal clear who I am and that I'm an active agent with HAR. And then I will tell them what time that I want to show it. I probably won't text the agent till in the morning because it's kind of late and I don't want it to go off in the middle of the night. But I'll text them in the morning, let them know, hey, I'm going to start at this time today if I text tomorrow. And here's my agent, Ryan Hygic, Texas United Realty. You got the rest. And then I'll tell them what time I want to show it, start and then end. And I'll usually start and end all my appointments for 1 hour. Usually your clients won't take longer than 15 minutes to look at a house, just FYI, unless it's like in the country or it's got a lot of land or it might be like a 6,000 square foot house, then you obviously need a little bit more time for that. So an average house like this one is going to take about 15-20 minutes to go through. And then about 10 minutes drive to the next house. That's why I say about 2 houses an hour. I will deviate that depending on how far apart they are. And if it's in the country, I'll explain. This is a good one to explain on. So I read that I can do it. I'm going to make a note in my notepad because I'm going to make sure that this one I cannot schedule with the agent unless I text them. It's not on a showing service, so I can't do that. As you can see right here, appointment number, and then the texting the agent. So I'm going to write that down, 512, and then I will write down the address so I can be sure and understand that that number goes with this. Okay, so I'll go to the next one. Let's see, active, and okay, great one to go over. Agent remarks, investor only. Tenant currently occupied and the showings will only be handled after seller accepts. Great one. So if you read that, what that tells me is an investor owns it and it's a rent property. So rent property in state of Texas, the leases cannot be terminated just because a sale has taken place. So the new owner has to honor that lease. Unless the tenants give notice that they want to move out, they have the right to move to stay in that property until 5/31/2022. So if your clients, or in this case, my client is wanting to move in sooner than that, then this would be a no-go because they cannot, obviously they cannot move in until after the tenants move out, which is that expiration date of 5/31/22. In my case, I understand my clients have told me that they need a place to move into by mid-March. It takes, just FYI, about 30 to 45 days to close on a property. I always say 45 days on my contracts. Sometimes I do a little bit more just because the appraisal times are running a little bit longer right now. So at minimum, you need to put a 45-day close date unless it's like a cash sale or typically a cash sale, or maybe the lender instructs you otherwise. Maybe they say, hey, I can guarantee you a 30-day close. I don't really like to believe when I hear that. I always try to still do 45 days out just because anything can happen and time is of the essence on those contracts. So in this one, I know it can't work. So tomorrow I'm writing this down. I'm going to inform my client via, I'm going to call them in the morning and I'm going to tell them, sorry, we can't show 2603 Gate Mound Court. And I'll give them the explanation why. So sometimes that's probably better for a verbal phone call with them to kind of explain so why. Again, they're saying investor only because they understand that if you were to buy that property, you still have to honor the lease that's on there. And you cannot move in, obviously physically move in until after 5/31/22. The tenant would still owe you rent. Technically, you would be the new owner and therefore the new landlord. So that was a good one to come across for that very reason. So, but I cannot show it because I know my clients, what they need. So next one. Okay, thank you for showing. Please reach out to the agent for title company information, call or text for access info. Okay, so another one that's not on the showing service, but there's a conflict there because call or text for access info, that implies to text or call the listing agent, but where it says appointment is the showing smart center. So on my notes, I'm going to put the address is 3250 View Valley. I always like to have a notepad. I'm old fashioned, pen and paper. And then I'm going to say text agent or HAR home smart showing service, but or HAR, I just call them HAR showing service. I will explain this one in a minute, how you figure out how to do the showing. This is another good one, for example, because there's throwing us for a loop here, but we can navigate this. So again, I'm not going to schedule it just yet. I don't know exactly what the agent is wanting here, but I'll get to the bottom of it and I'll show you how. And but first I need to map out where I'm going to first. So I'll explain real quick. Thank you for showing. Obviously, the agent is thanking you for bringing your client to their house to show. The listing agent is wanting you to use their title company or the one they've already have in mind. And so they want you to text for their or call them for that information so you can put it on the contract if you were to write an offer. Now, you don't have to use the title company that the listing agent wants to use. It's negotiable. So your clients need to understand that it is negotiable, but title companies, the title policy at least is a set fee in the state of Texas. So the other fees can vary a little bit, but most of the time I just use the title company that the listing agent is wanting to use. It's just title might be already open there, and it's usually going to be one close to the house subject house anyway. So unless your client really, and if they prefer to use another title company, again, it's negotiable, but usually your client, your buyer won't care which title company. And the big name companies like First American Title, Star Text Title, Select Title, they're all good title companies that are well known and big name title companies that will go above and beyond for you and your clients. So we'll get into that another day about title companies. So now let's go on to the next one, the last one. I'm going to read it. Please call or text Deb with all questions and for title company information. Again, she's wanting you to text her for the title company information. So why don't they put the title company information in the agent remarks? Because HAR doesn't allow you to. That's why. It's just a violation. If you put it in there, they're going to send you a violation. And if you don't correct it, they're going to fine you. So that's why they are saying that. So no survey. They're telling you they don't have a current survey on the property. A survey is what marks the boundaries of the property and where the house sits on that property. It's got a lot of other details on it. We'll go over surveys another time, but they're telling you, hey, we don't have one. Why do you care? Because your buyer's going to have to get one if they get a loan. The lender's going to require it. It's also, even if you pay cash, it's also a good thing to have. I would strongly recommend my clients always have a survey, even if they're paying cash and it's not required by a lender, because a survey to show you the easements on the property, well, it will show you if there are easements. It will show you what flood zone it's in. It will show you where the house is sitting on the property. What if the house is sitting, sorry for my crude drawing, what if the house is sitting like this on your property boundary? That's a problem. And you wouldn't know that unless you had a survey. And yes, it's happened to me before. I think only twice in my going on 18-year career, but it has happened. So don't think it won't. I would never close on a property without a survey, even if I was paying cash. So call or text Deb. So obviously that's the listing agent or the listing agent's assistant maybe. And with all questions, okay. And she submit offers. So if you were to make an offer, she wants you to put the subject line as the address is the subject line, which I always do anyway. That's where you should send the offers to. So I would always send it there. And then I would CC the agent here. If I was to make an offer, I would actually do both email addresses. They're given good information. On page 9, you need to know the broker information and license number, and she's given it all to you. So that would be on page 9 of the contract. There's all your information. She's also saying attached is the seller's disclosure and all the mud notices and everything, which you need to have when you're writing the offer. So that tells me to go here. And then there's all your PDFs. So I will, once this is over, I'm going to actually go over this one by one, attach it and send it to my client via email because they might as well have the information up front. If you're doing it from your phone, you can also share, hit the share button, and actually it'll send a PDF via text to them if you're on the go. So I'll actually do that later and I'll kind of review the seller's disclosure. So let's pull it up. I actually pulled it up earlier and reviewed it, but I'm going to show you why I'm pulling it up. I'm going into a bit of a tangent here, but this is all information you need to really look at before you show the house. So you're at least a little bit familiar with the properties that you're showing and you're not just opening the door. It is some work, but it will go a long ways when your clients know that you're very familiar with all the properties you're showing. And I'm only showing 4, so it's not that hard to get to know these properties. So I'm seeing the age of the roof, about 6 years old. I already went through this, so I'm kind of going through it fast. But I did notice when I was going through it, flood information. It is in the floodplain. So home is in floodplain. To my knowledge, it flooded during the Memorial Day flood and looks like during Harvey. So that could be an issue to your client. And actually, I already sent this information over to my insurance agent that I use and asked him to give me a flood quote. I already did that earlier today because my client is going to want to know, okay, if they're okay with it flooding, how much is it going to cost me? What is the coverage going to cost me? And I don't know that. I'm not an insurance agent. So I sent the information over to my insurance agent that I use via email. You may, and again, I told my client that it was in the floodplain already, and you may want to double check with them first to see if that's even something they're interested in. Because if it's not, then there's no need to send for a quote to your insurance agent, and there's no need to show the property if your client's not interested in the house that flooded. But my client said he's thinks about it, he still wants to see it, but he was definitely interested in that quote as to how much it would take. So when I sent my agent the quote, I got an email back saying, not a problem. He verified the home is in AE zone. And he asked for me to get an elevation certificate. So to give him a better, so what an elevation certificate is, you can't have an elevation certificate unless you have a survey, because the elevation certificate uses the survey to pinpoint exactly where the property's at. And then they do an elevation gauge as to see how high the house sits above the zone, the floodplain, or how low it sits in the floodplain. So as the word elevation. So I don't have that. Obviously, I'm not the listing agent or the owner of that property. So I'm going to reach out to the owner listing agent and ask him if they have a copy of the survey and of the elevation certificate. That way I can send it to my insurance guy so he can get me an accurate quote on the flood. So this is all a lot of information I'm throwing at you, I understand, but it's everything you have to do because the client is going to want information about the property in detail, or else we're not going to have a sale. They're not going to write an offer, and I don't blame them. So again, he is still interested and he wants to know the flood cost, because homeowners insurance is not flood insurance. Homeowners insurance is regular homeowners insurance. And then flood insurance is if it floods. So, and I wouldn't go over the specifics of what the insurance covers because you're not an insurance agent. Leave that up to the insurance agent and advise them that they can use any insurance agent or insurance broker that they want to. This guy just didn't have one, and he said that he'd like me to find out through my insurance broker that I personally use. And I said, okay, I will. So again, I would go over the other, I would click real quick on the other items and then go ahead and send them to your clients. So I'm going to go back to single agent line. I'm going to click all. Again, I'm going back to my notes here that the last one, 215, little doggy flood. I'm just going to write floodplain AE. And that way I have a note to myself, but the client still wants to see it. And if my insurance agent doesn't respond by the time we show it, then I'll just show it anyway. Because then I can't force my insurance agent to get back to me by 1 o'clock or 1:30 or whenever I show this property. So I'll just go ahead and show it with no, the client does know it flooded. Now what I'm gonna do, which one, I forget which one I couldn't show. So I'm gonna go through here real quick. Sorry, it'll do that unless you go back and hit. Sorry. Single agent line display. And you need to go back and click listing, or else it's just going to show all the. Okay. Which one? Forget. Sorry, all my talking. I forget. Investor only. So that's Gatemount Court on my list. I'm just going to strike it out, and or make just to make a note asterisk saying explain investor situation to client or to buyer. So right now I'm not going to be I'm not going to show Gatemount Court right as of right now, because my client already told me, sorry, results. I clicked to agent. Sorry, I need to click that, not the other one. So I'm going to unclick Gatemount and I'm going to hit directions to see how I need to set this up. So I know that I am actually starting in this intersection right here is where I'm going to meet them. So it's saying that I should go 1, 2, 3, which is not a bad idea to set it up. But I think I'm going to do 2, 1, and then go down I-10 and go to 3. So, and this will actually give you turn-by-turn directions. So you can actually print or email this. If you want to say paper, sometimes I email it to myself. And that way I just can look at my phone and see the directions or see the map, because my iPhone has a GPS. But sometimes I'll send it to the client if they're following me. That way, if they get lost behind me, they know where we're going and what we're. So I'm going to, you can add a start and a stop. That's pretty cool. So I'm actually going to move 2 up to 1. I'm going to show like this. I'm going to go 1, 2, 3. And now it rerouted me, and now I can hit print or email to myself. Okay. So what I understand is I'm going to go Comstock, and then so I'm going to put a little 1 by here just because I like to have everything on paper. 2 is a View Valley, and 3 is the little doggy. Okay. So I'm going to go back to results right here. And actions. I'm going to go here because I know that's first. Again, I knew that home, according to my the agent right here, It wants me to text the agent. So I wrote that down in my notepad. I'm not going to text them till the morning because it's too late. Next one was, we're not showing that one. The next one was View Valley. Yep, according to my notes, exactly right. Request an appointment. That was the one that was the text the agent or request the appointment. It looks like the agent made the mistake and you don't want to text them. It looks like you can show it through the HomeSmart. So again, you just click request an appointment. HomeSmart took it. So I'm going to go schedule. When would you like to see it? I'm going to go, actually, I'm going to go through here and go tomorrow, which is the 20th. Pick a time. This one is second on my list, so I'm starting at 1:30. I'm going to go with 2 o'clock. HomeSmart doesn't allow you to 2 o'clock. I don't see how they're allowing me to do an hour time slot. The other showing service does allow you to. HomeSmart's a newer showing service. So maybe I just haven't figured that out yet. But anyway, 30 minutes is enough time for me. And I'm going to hit submit showing request. So it confirmed it. If it didn't confirm it, it meant it was going to wait on the seller to confirm that I'm allowed to. They're allowing me to do it at that time. But this house must be vacant because it gave me an answer right away, or the sellers just, they don't care, go and show. It's enough notice, so they'll make sure to not be there. Actually, it does tell me it's vacant right here. And there's my showing. So I'll either print this out or I'll take a photo of this. Sometimes the ShowSmart Center will actually text you the information. So what I'll do to save paper is I'll typically just write in my notepad. I see that the lockbox type is a Supra. So I'm going to write down Supra for View Valley. And alarm, that's important because you don't want the alarm going off while you're there. And it says no. And if it was, it would have given you the instructions for the alarm. And then it tells me where the Supra is, front door. So I'm going to write that down. Front door, Supra, front door, and no alarm. You can take a picture of that. Again, I'm just print it. I just don't want to waste ink. So I'm just writing it down because that's the information I needed. So very good information to have. If you need to cancel the showing, because if like my clients call me tomorrow and say, yeah, we're not feeling good, we're not going to make this, then please cancel the showing. That way it just gives the sellers a courtesy that you're not going to go. So it confirmed it, like I said. Now I'm going to the next one, which is the little doggy. I can see from the picture that this one is in the country. I can also see that it's not in Katy. And remember when I pulled up the directions, it told me that it was a little bit further out towards, well, it's in Simonton, but out towards Fulshire, which I know, and I don't need the map, but I know is about a 30-minute drive. So I'm not, so the last one was at, I'll also write in my notes what time the showing is. It was from, what was it from? I forget already. See, that's why you write it down. Sorry, right here. January 20th, which is tomorrow, from 2 to 2:30. So I know to get to little doggy, it's about a 30-minute drive. So I'm going to give myself a little bit of room for error. And I'm going to say I get done with the other one at about in Katy at about 2:30. So I should be able to be there by 3. So 3 would be okay. I'll probably do 3 or 3:15 and I'll probably make sure and give myself an hour for this one in case I'm a little late. I have at least an hour window to hit that mark. So I'll do 3 to 4 or 3:15 to 4:15. It's really your call on time frame and how the drive time. So I believe if I get done with the other one and Katie, I know my way around Katie and Simonton pretty well. I think I could get there by 3 o'clock. And I don't want to be waiting around in case I say 3:15 and I end up getting there at 3. You cannot go in until 3:15. And I don't want to waste that time. So I believe I can make it there by 3, and I'll give myself an hour window just in case. If I do end up making it there at 3:15, it's still okay because I have the appointment from 3 to 4, if that makes sense. So request appointment. Again, I know this showing service. This is kind of the old school showing service, and I'm more familiar with it. So I clicked it. Yes, that's my information. I agree to the terms. I want to schedule the showing, or you can add it to your cart if there's more showings that you need to do with this showing service. But there's no, because this is my last one. I'm going to say, except for that, the first one I have to text the agent in the morning, but it's the last one with this showing service. So I'm going to say schedule tomorrow. I want it at 3 o'clock. So 3:15. Type is showing. It shows oh, I'm going to end it at 4. So appointment time, because I clicked 3. And then appointment end time, I want an hour. Remember, I said 3 to 4. So, oh, I made a mistake. I clicked the wrong date, Friday. I want Thursday. So sorry about that. So I want 3 o'clock on Thursday. So confirm. That's why I always double check. Showing, yes. If it was your second time to show the property to the same people, you would click second showing, but it's not. I've not seen this before. Showing, appointment end. I don't want it to end till 4 because again, I wanted my hour window in case I'm a little late. Okay, Thursday, yes, 3 o'clock. Yes, I confirm with my notes, request appointment. Not yet confirmed. So it's going to submit that to the seller via, it'll usually send them an automated text or might even call them if they don't respond to the text. Again, it's kind of late, so I don't expect an answer till in the morning, but at least I have it scheduled. And I know that the only other one I have to do is this first one. I have to text the agent in the morning. I might text them right now. It's just a text. I'm hoping it doesn't wake them up. Hopefully they have their night mode on, and that way I just don't forget to do it in the morning, or if I get rushed or there's a phone call or something happens. So a great way to kind of show you how to go through the listings, how to make appointments, and then how to communicate with your client of what's going on with the property and to get familiar with the property. So again, I'll text this agent and then I'll put it on my notepad, the showing instructions once they send it back to me. And then I know based on the map that I used and my notepad, I've got house 1. I'm not doing that house 2 because it's an investor only unless the client still wants to, which in this case, I'm 99% sure they won't. And then I'll go to my second and third house and I know what order, and my notepad confirms that. And it'll be smooth sailing, and you're already familiarized with the properties that you're showing. So that's it for now. I'm gonna try to find a way to exit this video.